right, welcome back. We continue talking cricket here on the SportsMax zone. The West Indies will go in search of their first one-day international victory against Bangladesh in 6 years when their three-match series begins on Sunday. All three matches will be played at Warner Park in St Kitts and Nevis, with Sunday's match followed by games next Tuesday and Thursday. The Windies have made two changes to their previously announced squad, with Shamar Joseph and Matthew Ford replaced by uncapped pacers Marquino Mindley of Jamaica and Barbadian Jediah Blades. Well, the full squad reads: Shea Hope as captain, Brandon King vice-captain, Casey Carty, Roston Chase, as we said, Marquino Mindley comes in, Justin Graves, the man who's been hitting those centuries, as Shimron Hetmyer, Lance's player, Amir Django from Trinidad and Tobago makes the squad, of course, Alzari Joseph, Jediah Blades, Evan Lewis, Gudikesh Moji, Shifin Rutherford, Jaden Seals and Romario Shepard. All right, so the Windies have lost their last 11 ODIs against Bangladesh, dating back to July 2018, including a 3-0 sweep when the teams last met in the Caribbean in 2022. So, can the Caribbean men stop their poor run against the Bangladeshis in 50-over cricket? Let's ask cricket commentator Nikhil Uttamchandani, who joins us to look ahead to Game 1. Nikhil, how are you? We didn't see you when you were in Jamaica.
Yeah, Maria. Ricardo told me to stay away from the studio. I don't know what that was about, but he said don't come in. I don't know. I just followed instructions.
Nikhil, you should have told me. He wouldn't be able to do that if I knew.
Yeah, I was trying to, but I didn't have your number, so... next time, for sure.
All right. Well, that's sad. We didn't get to see Nikhil here in studio, but that's all right, Nikhil. Next time we'll sort that out. So let's get to the cricket. West Indies versus Bangladesh. You know, the ODI squad has a lot of new inclusions, exciting players that are in good form. How are we looking, Nikhil?
Yeah, I want to say, first of all, this is arguably a more important series. People will laugh, but it's arguably more important than the England series, and that's because Bangladesh are currently ranked 9th in the ODI rankings. We are ranked in, West Indies are ranked in 10th. So you always want to not only beat the people ahead of you, but it could easily come down to these two teams for that final spot when it comes around to the qualification time in March of 2027. So, yeah, really exciting series coming up. I think both teams have some key absences. Bangladesh, when it comes to their batting, no Shakib, no Shanto, Mustafizur, who's been quite good for them. And then, of course, the two unfortunate changes for the West Indies, losing Ford and Shamar Joseph.
Yeah, really, really unfortunate when it comes to the injuries. But what do you think about the replacement? Do you have time for them?
Well, I think we always have to credit our regional system. That's the criteria for selection. Marquino Mindley had an excellent season in the Super 50 where he took 20 wickets. So I understand why they've gone for him, especially with such short notice. Given, the announcements of the changes, he probably was the next up in line. And I'll be eager to see if he can sort of translate the Super 50 form into the international setup, because obviously the competition rises and also the surfaces evolve in a way as well. But I think on Blades, we've been talking for a while about the West Indies having a left-arm seam option. We haven't had one. I think I checked since Obed McCoy made his debut back in 2018. Raymond Rifa and Dominic Drakes, who played 3 ODIs last year, are the only two real left-arm seam options they've had. So it's an exciting time to invest in someone who adds a bit of variety to your attack. You look at the best teams in the world, they all have a left-arm seamer. And I'm really eager to see how he goes. I think the key to his skill set is being able to swing that new ball back into the right-hander.
Yeah, and one of the things I listened to the coach, Darren Sammy, talk about would be that crucial 2027 World Cup. He's looking ahead, he's planning ahead, which is so important because you want to start getting ready, you want to start looking at your available options from now. Amir Django comes into the setup. He's been a player that has been on the fringes for quite some time, Nikhil, with a lot of people actually clamoring and calling for him to be included into the setup. He gets an opportunity to join the setup now. What do you think about Amir Django and, just how he has gone about his career so far and the opportunity finally happening for him?
Yeah, for someone who's played West Indies under-19 cricket, it's taken a while, but this is a huge break for him. And, he deserves it. When you look at the year that he's had, first of all, 500 runs in 5 first-class matches. That was impressive. We always knew he was sort of a bit better of a red ball player than a white ball player. But I think what has happened to him this season, he's always known for getting starts, like many of our batters at the regional level. But you look at the 350s and 100 in the Super 50, obviously he got that 111 against Guyana, but he got 93 not out, a 70 not out, both in winning causes, in chases, and then a 96. So not only was he just getting to 50, he was making sure he was getting very deep into the innings and impacting the game for Trinidad in a winning way. And I think, the double 100 early this year in red ball setup, he's finding a way now to evolve from just getting start into getting big, impactful runs. And I don't know if he'll get an opportunity because I think that top 6 is quite set and they're looking to invest in them going forward. But regardless, I think it's a huge opportunity and, of course, a great way to learn and be around an international setup.
Yeah, Nikhil, you said a couple of minutes ago that the Windies would have been hurt by the late withdrawals of Ford and Shamar Joseph. But I'm looking at the roster. How strong is this roster? Because Bangladeshis are obviously a handful in ODI cricket for the West Indies. So how strong is this West Indies roster to tackle them?
There are definitely concerns, Lance, when it comes to the bowling. The England series was a series dominated by, obviously, the toss. We saw when the West Indies chased. But they will reflect on a few moments. In every game, they went with the 5 out-and-out options and Rutherford as the 6th bowler. But I remember in the 3rd ODI, when Shepherd went down, Rutherford had to bowl 3.5 overs. It was extremely harsh on him, and he went for 59 runs. And I thought in this series we would begin to see, with Roston Chase at 7, Chase at 7, maybe a Shepherd at 8, and Ford at 9. That's enough strength there. It's a lot of depth. And maybe you play the extra bowling option without Shimon Hetmyer at 6 or 7. But I don't know now without Matthew Ford's prowess, and this is why I think it sort of hurts the West Indies. Can you afford to have, Shepherd go up to 6, Chase 7, or vice versa, and then your bowlers after that? It will be an interesting decision. I always think it's a huge risk to play any form of white ball cricket with just 5 bowling options. And I'm eager to see if they try a new route and try to put more responsibility on that top 5 who we've seen at times be able to get big hundreds.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go here, because you look more in depth at the bowling issues, but the batting based on the quality, or let me use the word talent, looks good. If this batting lineup comes off, they should be able to put big totals on the board.
I think the biggest improvement, Lance, and the biggest highlight for this year has been the way they've gone in the middle. Florifa has continuously mentioned wanting to get into a habit of being able to score at more than 6 runs and over against a spin. But what I will say is the surfaces have been very conducive for batting, and I expect them to be similar in St. Kitts after that early morning moisture goes. The key, though, is this Bangladesh bowling attack is dynamic, and they've got a couple quality spin options. So you'll get the leg spin of Rishad Hossain. You'll get Mahedi, who's been superb for the last 3 years. So I'm really eager to see now if they can translate that confidence in the middle specifically now against a quality spin. And also, if they lose the toss and are asked to bat first, given that it's a 9:30 start, can they mitigate that new ball with a bit of early morning moisture?
Yeah, Nikhil, it's been 6 years and 11 consecutive matches that the Bangladeshis have beaten the West Indies in one-day international cricket. Do you suspect that the West Indies are in a better position now than they have been at any point in the last 6 years to topple this Bangladesh team?
I think given recent time and obviously the recency of that England series, Ricardo, probably. I think they've found something in the batting where guys like Carty are finding a rhythm. Brandon King, we saw both of them get hundreds. We know the prowess of Shea Hope. I like what they built in the variety in that top 6, guys that can play different roles for you. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see this top 5 or 6 being back now for the next 2 years, maybe with 1 or 2 changes of personnel. But what they've been able to produce as a core and as a sort of a collective has been impressive, with different guys stepping up. Look, it's a quality Bangladesh bowling lineup. I do think the impact of no Shanto and Shakib for their batting, and no Tawad Ridoy, let's not forget him either. There is some inexperience in that top 3 or 4. Jakarali's only played 2 ODIs, but they do welcome Litton Das back in. So I do think because their batting is significantly weakened, it gives the West Indies a great chance. And as I said before, this is a really important series for the West Indies to win.
Yeah, a couple of new faces in the West Indies squad. Of course, Blades comes in. Markino Mindley, who we've seen in the test format before, replaced Kemar Roach a few years ago in Australia and then himself got injured. He gets his one-day international opportunity to be in the squad. What do you make of those two being drafted in with Shamar Joseph out and also out of the original squad is, of course,
Ford.
I don't know what has happened to my brain, Matthew Ford, who is injured. Yeah.
I want everyone to know that Ricardo is having a great time at Sabina Park on one of the days of the test match. I don't know if that has had an impact on any of his thought process. But Ricardo, to be honest, I'm really excited about Blades. The 14 wickets he took, a lot of them came with the new ball, and we keep speaking about having someone with the ability to swing the ball. I think in the back end of the innings, he gives you the wide Yorker as well as a left-arm seamer. So I'm hoping he can learn, even if he doesn't get an opportunity. But given the workload of Alzari and Jaden Seals in the test series, I'm sure both of them are going to come into calling at some stage. Mindley's an interesting one because obviously he got a lot of wickets, but he's someone that doesn't have the pace. He has skill. He seams the ball. He is very accurate, as we saw in the Super 50, and 9 wickets in the last 2 games. But everything was at the stumps, and he got assistance from a surface, which was good for batting. But as we went deeper into the competition, it assisted the seamers. I'm really curious to see if, with the lack of pace and more focus on skill, if he is someone who is able to translate those skills, as I said before. But yeah, not often you see guys bowling, 125s and close to 130s, getting a lot of success. So he can be someone of a point of difference for this West Indies team. And I've seen at times him be able to use this angle from around the wicket and execute the Yorker to the left-hander like we literally just saw with Hayden Walsh's dismissal.
Yeah. How strong of a statement is the selection of these 2 players from the selectors? Looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, the selectors are continuing to send a pretty strong message, and I say selectors loosely, given the new setup of Cricket West Indies. Perform, and there's an opportunity for you to play for the West Indies.
And sometimes that can be risky. Just as recent as the Bangladesh Test Series, there's a guy named Amit Hassan who scored 500-plus runs in a season. They said, no, we're not picking you. You need to do it more often, like Ajango has done. And I think that is risky. But at the end of the day, as you said, the message for the players to take is you can have 1 or 1.5 really good domestic seasons and, you're in. So it gives players at the regional level something to aspire to, even if you're 30 or on the other side of 30. There's a great opportunity, especially with experimenting going on and the World Cup being 2 years away. There's a great opportunity in the next Super 50 and maybe the one after that, 2025 and 2026, to break into this West Indies One International squad.
Yeah, well, what's for sure is, Nikhil, a lot is on the line. The Windies coach will be looking at these players very, very closely. How do you predict this one will turn out?
I want to say I saw the football predictor. He was giving me some advice at my time in Jamaica.
Oh, no.
Big up to Bobby. But I think I'm going to go West Indies 2-1. West Indies 2-1.
So you're getting it wrong. Oh, dear.
I want to know how the advice goes. Sorry. What did he say?
Bobby said to me, trust the process. Always trust my gut, which is something I've struggled with in the past. And I did some introspection. So I want to say, massive big up to him. And he's the real king when it comes to predictions.
But this is the Bobby who told us only a few days ago that he does not predict with his gut. Yeah. He predicts after hours
after rewatching tapes.
And rewatching tapes and analyzing over and over again before coming to a conclusion. Yet he is telling you to trust your gut.
But maybe the difference in sport, Ricardo, cricket and football, So
I find you're picking up for him a lot. I wonder, what did Bobby really say to you?
So you come on the show, you tell a lie on me, and now you're defending the J. I wonder what happened at Sabina Park.
And you didn't come to the studio to say hi to Lance and I.
All I'll say is Jamaica is a phenomenal place. I enjoyed myself thoroughly in the week.
And you're no longer scared?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm going everywhere in Jamaica now. Definitely not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Nikhil, we look forward to see how this series turns out. We know we'll be chatting with you again. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk really soon.
All right, Maria. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Take care, Nikhil Uttam Chandani. Always a good time when he stops by on the SportsMax Zone. Going to take a break and come right back.